Yeah, Rusty Jake Rodriguez will hope to do what Daryl Gurney couldn't. We've seen players put in brilliant performances and not follow it up. We saw the best ever performance on a European Tour stage from Rusty Jake yesterday, and a real demolition job of Danny Noppert. And Rusty looking to do what his brother did in Trier and beat Madars Razma on the European Tour stage. But I hope that Rusty can maintain the level of performance yesterday, Paul, because we did that game and he was excellent, wasn't he?
It was fabulous. It was really controlled, showed only the tiniest bit of passion, but he's definitely got more gas in the tank. I do wonder though, because obviously Roby is incredibly talented and we wish him well. He did not come to this tournament either for personal reasons, but when are we going to get Rusty Jake versus Roby on a European Tour stage? That would be an occasion. And let's not forget that their brother Roxy has also played in European Tour stuff. It's a family affair, but today it's purely Rusty.
They keep progressing, they keep playing well, they keep winning games. Naturally they're going to bump into each other, aren't they? But we've seen it with Kim and Ronnie, haven't we? Played in a Grand Slam and the first round of a World Championship. What a draw that was. First things first, Rusty Jake wants to put himself into the quarterfinals. Joe Cullen awaits, but Joe Cullen hasn't hit anywhere near first gear yet, but he becomes our first quarterfinalist, beating Jim Williams with just over a 90 average.
Yeah, Rusty's got a bit of work to do if he wants to be in Dortmund in the last weekend of October, that's for sure. We'll talk about that in a second, but first Razma needs 68 more. That is a very safe 18. I love to see that.
68.
Trying to bump it in off that dart. Just that little step to the left said to me that maybe he was looking for the assist. We know what Rusty's looking for. And he almost got it.
Yeah, good effort from Rusty Jake. But Madars gets the chance to tidy up this 25. It would be a breaker throw. Razma, who featured in our first match of the event, as Paul Nicholson said earlier, we haven't seen him since. Got the bye yesterday.
23.
Rusty will hope he's getting the bye today so he can progress to the quarterfinals. Being let off here, Rusty Jake. And takes it. A modest 20 down, but a hold the throw. Rusty Jake Rodriguez off and running here in the last 16.
I remember when Rusty made his debut on the European Tour as a 16-year-old kid.
Beat Richie Edhouse, didn't he?
He did. Last game of a Friday night in front of an incredible multiversum crowd in Vienna. And at that point, we realised that we have a talent on our hands. That was my first day as a European Tour commentator, probably why I remember it so well. But in order for Rusty to progress, he needed 2021, didn't he? He needed to have that dominating feeling on the European side of the development tour. And now he's a full-time pro. He's starting to make incremental improvements. But I think if he was to make the European Championship, that would be another step in the right direction. But he's going to need to do plenty as he plays today. He plays in Belgium in a couple of weeks, and he plays in Gibraltar as well. So being involved in the cut-off tournament in Gibraltar may be key for him, not just for the pounds, but for the count back as well.
Yeah, and bigger picture, he wants to go to the World Championships as well. And he's got a lot to do for that, Rusty Jake. And you mentioned when will he play Roby? Well, Roby's in Gibraltar as well, so you never know, we might get our wish there.
I'd love to see that game in Austria. That would be fun. Maybe not for the Rodriguez family.
Well, it's going to take place in Gibraltar.
83.
Yeah, back to the Victoria Stadium this year. Now Razma is looking at 89 more. Doesn't look particularly sharp so far.
Madars Razma, I was in Trier when he lost that semi-final. He was quite emotional after, in a good way, because he was pleased with his efforts, but he knew he qualified for the World Match Play. And he said he was sort of in dreamland. It didn't go to plan at the World Match Play, lost to Peter Wright, but he will debut at the World Grand Prix next month, and it's his first leg here, but he's an awkward opponent. Keeps you guessing as well, doesn't he? I only ever played him once, and that wasn't much fun, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I've only played him once at Q School, and he beat me, and it was two very tired players just eking it out, but it was Razma who took that match on that occasion. I warmed to him immediately when he came to the PDC. I knew of him because of his BDO exploits. He went to Lakeside a few times, but I immediately took to him. Just really, really pleasant to talk to.
And he's improved. You see players, he's not on the tour now, but hopefully come back with Benito van der Pas. Never really pulled up trees in the BDO. Came over here, he played his best stuff. Razma was, you know, very modest record in the BDO. Comes over here, now look at him. He's qualifying for the majors. He's a threat in European Tour events and putting himself in the PDC, playing the best, has produced the best from the Latvian.
I've been doing some stat crunching today as well, and we are seeing Razma using the bottom half of the board a little bit more, which is his plan B. But no need for the bullseye route on this, because double six is calling. And he won't mind double three because of the way his darts hit the board.
I was going to say, Madars goes in on double six. He's got an issue, hasn't he? Because his darts stick up in the board. But Rodriguez, great effort there, but should return. He got rid of Jeff Smith in the opening round. We mentioned the Danny Noppert one. So he hasn't had an easy draw here. Jeff Smith's a tough draw, but I was just impressed the way he dealt with Jeff. I'm impressed the way he dealt with that 1-1. There we are, a raw. Rusty leads 2-1 now.
Do the raw. Have you seen it yet?
No, Paul.
I'll come back to you on that one. But yes, I've done some stat crunching. And looking at the 16 players this afternoon, we've got 11 countries represented, which is incredible. But looking at all of the different tours and age groups that we have with PDC darts now, there are only 2 players this afternoon who've not won anything in relation to PDC action ever. One of them is Boris Kruchma, and the other one is Karol Sedlacek. If you look at someone like Rusty Jake, he's won on the development tour. We've seen some players win on the challenge tour, but Razma has won plenty on the PDC Nordic and Baltic tour. So any PDC title period, only 2 players haven't won one this afternoon.
And we've got a big game to end the day as well. Simon Whitlock, Ryan Meikle. Ryan Meikle ran over to me. He was chuffed. The Ipswich Town's official account tweeted him yesterday to say well done.
Did they really?
Yeah, he's a big Ipswich fan, Ryan Meikle.
That'll have made his weekend, that.
They don't half hog my timeline moaning mind when they don't get the result they want.
Saturdays when Ipswich lose.
Kevin, Ryan, Della. Well, not so much Della because I muted him, but...
87.
But either way, it looks like we're going 2 apiece here. But no, looking forward to that one, and we'll go into that one later on. Ryan Meikle and Simon Whitlock are tied in the race for the European Championships as well on the same amount. So something's got to give in the final match of the day.
Now this single's got to be quite high in my opinion, if he wanted to stay where he was. Doesn't matter anymore. Double 10. And a chance, albeit a very difficult chance for Rusty to get to 3-1. This was hit yesterday by Peter Wright in what was the game of the tournament so far.
It was some game, that, wasn't it? Peter Wright actually, after the game, came and said goodbye to me and Paul. He looked in great spirits, didn't he? I think he was happy with how it went in terms of his performance.
Yeah, I think he was happy with his performance. He enjoyed it on the stage again. Watch out for him next week in Jena. Could well be snakebite back on the rostrum. But Razma's waiting for the call. It's there.
Well, definitely in.
Well,
2-2.
What was interesting, because the duties of a referee may not be known to everyone. The referee only moves if they are asked to move. So right there, Russ doing the right thing. He couldn't see if it was in, but if it wasn't in and he moved, he would have put the player off.
Yeah.
So he did the professional thing in staying put, and Razma is allowed to look, whereas Russ was just doing the professional thing.
Yeah. Dealt with well. Voice. Respirate.
He's been in great spirits this weekend as well. He's been telling us all about some of his travelling.
Rusty Jake Rodriguez will be travelling a bit more this year. Paul said he's in 2 more. He's in Belgium and Gibraltar. And he could have a big end to the year here. I think we're seeing the best version of Rusty Jake Rodriguez. He was impressed in the back end of last year. Didn't win a game in his Grand Slam group, but competed in every single one. It was a group that involved Bradley Brooks, Mervyn King, Johnny Clayton. And every game he pushed every one. And then he went to the Worlds, won his opening round, and he had Chris Dobie and all sorts of bother. But I thought he'd really kick on, and stalled a little bit this year, but seems to be performing like he can here.
Everybody harps on about Simon Whitlock and Peter Wright constantly changing equipment. But this weekend so far, Rusty Jakes had 3 different hairstyles. And that was a cut above that one. 177 to leave double 16.
Yeah, great shot from Rusty. And so far, it's all about the player throwing first. There was a little bit of a chance for Madars in the opening leg. Missed a couple of darts at a double. But since then, pretty plain sailing on throw. Well, I say that now. Where's that one going?
Yeah, that was a very, very wide shot.
16.
In fact, that visit was
They weren't
borderline
convincing.
terrible.
The last 2 weren't convincing, were they, Paul? Good mark of the first one, then did nothing with it. Could be a real steal incoming in after what a setup shot that was from Rusty. Is this the first breaker throw in match number 2 here? That is clean as you like. That will hurt Rusty Jake Rodriguez. When you tee up, Paul, and you've got those 3 clean, you think the leg's yours, don't you?
You do. That fan in the crowd just made me chuckle because he got off his chair as if to cheer, but it's like someone who's got a ticket for the football but is cheering for the away team, and when they score, oh, I've got to remember I'm actually in the home end.
Well, you got to say the crowd, very, very good order. The quietest European Tour crowds we had, just engrossed in the darts.
Love that. Mentioning all those names, wanted to see Barneveld, wanted to see MVG, Price, Wright. They're not here. And Andy Scott, our good friend from the Professional Dart Players Association, who attends all of the European Tour events. In fact, he's been to every one apart from one, which is incredible. But he said this morning on Twitter that this is one of the most open last 16s he can remember, and I concur with Andy. I think there's a huge opportunity for somebody, potentially in this match, to go and have a day of glory.
You'd argue the favourite, Michael Smith, because he's been there and done it, but Joe Cullen, yet to get in to anything like he can play, is in the quarterfinals. You'd feel it click for him at some point. The next match coming up is incredible. Josh Rock, third from Dyvenbode. There's a case for every single player, and yeah, I'm with you there, Paul. It's a great last 16 lineup. Ah, brilliant from Rusty. Just the circumstances in which he lost the last leg, I should say, to respond like this, but this is what he did previously. He teed up the shot with a good setup shot, didn't convert.
Yesterday, Rusty averaged 99. Like Mark said, best performance on the European Tour to date. It's not as good today, but he's just missing too many doubles. And so far, he's missed 10.
And that's, well, this will hurt now, won't it? The 76 did, but not going to get a go with double 5. Double 5 doesn't really favour Rusty. If he lands on that top wire, he can have problems. Attack with the first one. Doesn't seem too damaging.
Got to go left. Got to go left, Rusty. That's why that camera shows his problem that Mark illustrated.
Oh, you know what's coming. Madars Razma has just put in a professional performance. Both averages below 90. But Razma a lot more clinical. I mean, he's missed 6 at doubles. Mate, that's 7. But if the 8th goes in, oh, he lets Rusty off now. Decisions for Rusty. Might be worth bringing a 2-double-4 into play here.
I had a feeling this game was going to be like this, you know. Just a little bit edgy. With Razma not playing yesterday and Rusty in new territory. It's proving to be that way. Now that's a good guide. There you go.
Deserves to be level, you have to say. It's been harsh on him. Had he been 4-2 down here, but we're back on throw. Rusty Jake gets there and then needs to tighten those doubles up at the end of the match. He's missed 14 darts at doubles already in 6 legs. There we see confirmation of that. But back on throw, back in his hands.
Yeah, throughout this week, it's been a somewhat up and down time of it on the outer ring for Rusty. He was just over 31% against Jeff Smith on Friday. Yesterday was an improved 40%, but right now 17%. And for the week, it's under 30%. That is not good enough. That's not going to win you most European Tour games.
No, you're going to struggle. You're going to really have to rely on heavy scoring, and your scoring will desert you at some point.
Well, last night's match between Jim Williams and Peter Wright illustrated just how important some concise finishing can be in tight matches like this.
How important winning that ball is as well. Jim Williams had the advantage of throwing first in the deciding leg and proved pivotal in the end. Although they both had chances, Jim Williams came through. He's already gone today. Jim Williams lost to Joe Cullen. First and only quarter-finalist. Joe awaits the winner of this.
This is one of those tournaments as well. Hotel's really close by, so your option of going back to your hotel room and getting refreshed, pretty much made for you. Now, that's a bit wobbly.
He's going there. He's staying there though. Look, he didn't go with the treble. Just caught the flight. If it was going to hit the board, it was going in a 20.
I think if the dart was standing up properly, like some of his other darts do, I think it would have been a lot closer. The double five again for Rusty Jake, and that fire that he has inside is just starting to come out. It's maybe just a pilot light right now, but you never know, it might ignite a bit more if he gets to 5 or potentially 6 legs.
It was a good dart though, wasn't it? He'd have been nervous going for that. When you're missing doubles, you're edgy anyway, but you don't want darts at double 5. But Rusty turns his game around, was 3-2 down, now 4-3 in front. I'm looking for a place in the quarterfinals, and far from his best, Rusty, but average is similar. First 9 average is very similar as well. It's an evenly matched tie. The finishing stats obviously favour Madars, but still not great for Razma either.
You think about the prize money on offer, £25,000 for the winner today, but majority of the time when you play European Tour darts, you're playing for £1,000 in an individual match. So when you get to the tournament, £1,000 guaranteed. Win your first game, another 1,000. Win your next one, another 1,000. But this is different. This is where things get ramped up. An extra 2,000 for winning this. And of course, you want to turn a 4-figure payday into a 5-figure payday, and that's where things can really accelerate in your career.
5-figure paydays on the European Tour. What are them?
I had one.
I don't even want to talk about mine. Brilliant from Razma. And of course, with the race to the European Championships, that's when you can really leapfrog a few players. We talked about the Whitlock-Meikle game. They're level, but one of them is going to pull away from the other from a fair margin.
Should be 4-4. And is. Not in the middle, but that'll do. Do you get the feeling, Mark, that there's going to be mismatched darts in this game?
Well, you wouldn't be surprised. You'd be gobsmacked if there wasn't any more darts missed at doubles because of the way the game's been, but Rodriguez is just doing enough on throw. They've exchanged a couple of breaks in the middle part of the match, but Rodriguez, courtesy of winning that ball, is just slightly the favourite, and like I said, looking to do what his brother did to Madars in Trier.
Never seen a woman with a flamingo on her head at the darts?
No, I can't say that, Paul.
Well, there's a hat that Peter Manley doesn't own. He actually collects flamingos. So he's probably on the internet right now looking to see where that lady got that hat. Good luck, Peter.
95.
Peter Manley once bought a flamingo from a Chinese restaurant in Germany because he liked it. It was just in the entranceway.
It's in Dinslaken, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think you were there.
Yeah.
Was that the German Chinese restaurant that Andy Smith was thrown out of?
Oof, I don't know.
Because the pieman had too much. I think it was, you know. Oh, the tales of yesteryear. There's plenty of those. But what we're looking at is the future. JDC World Champion at the age of 16 he was.
Look at that dart in the treble. That's the one. That's one criticism. He doesn't do enough with that dart, and that will take Rusty to the next level. But I've been so impressed with him. And a little bit more impressive in terms of he gets through this today than the other 2 games, because everything was all straightforward against Jeff Smith and Roby John Rodriguez. Dropped 2 legs against Jeff, one not Roby, against Danny Nopper, I should say. 1 leg against Nopper, but he's been made to fight here, and he's had some setbacks. He's had plenty of them, but he's just regrouped, and if he can close out, it'll be a massive victory for him.
That's an excellent point you just made. His first real scrap of the weekend, and when you play Madars Razma, you know you have to scrap. Now the lie on this shot is better,
and it would jump him up 13 spots in the race for the World Championship. He's still off but it's looking a lot more realistic. Steve Beaton occupying the last one at the minute.
Tops in, more concise this time, and Rusty's corner of the VIP area is a bit more jubilant right now, as he is now one leg away. But look at the coolness of this young kid. Been there, done that, hasn't quite got his European Tour t-shirt yet.
No, but he's almost there. And a 56 is an opening on throw. If he can get it done here, forget the drama of a last leg. And you said, with the hotel being close, he'll get it done. Whoever wins this, get themselves back over. They've got a decent rest. See, the winner plays Joe Cullen. That will be the first match this evening. And we will just follow the draw. Something bugging Madars there?
It's probably a mosquito.
Yeah, you've had a few run-ins this weekend, Paul, haven't you?
A few run-ins.
96.
I feel like Ray Liotta in the Hannibal film, being eaten alive.
They've left me alone. They know not to mess, don't they?
You're a lucky man. You're a lucky man.
But Rusty is making his move here. Change attack from Madars. Does this quite often. He's normally a lot more effective than this. This is a real chance for Rusty J to get the job done. 10 deficit, less these.
Oh, it's a good use of the lie.
Brilliant, yeah.
Such a lovely, inviting shot when you get that dart right in the bottom of the 60 or just below. You expect the 140 or the 180 if the shot is in, but he's got 161 and he's got 6 darts for it to be in the quarterfinals for the very first time. It's looking very promising.
He's going to get a shot. Razma, realistically, he's probably thinking a 2 treble visit. Again, same part.
Doesn't use the sharpest of points. That's why when his dart hits the board, it tends to wobble a little bit.
That's good, though. Really good.
Excellent to leave the 2 darter.
But it may not be enough. Rodriguez for a big victory. Not as clinical as yesterday, but if anything, a bigger victory. That's what it means. So impressed with Rusty Jake. He had to work really hard in that game. He had some setbacks midway through. Madars Razma disappointed. He had the bye yesterday, but he's gone now. It's Rusty Jake Rodriguez who's into his first quarter-final of a European Tour event. And look at the expression on his face. Look how much it means to him. He faces Joe Cullen in our first quarter-final this evening. Good job from Rusty Jake, looking to emulate his brother from Trier and go to a final. There he is. He looks up, but he needs to go again. He's got another game later on tonight. He wins by 6 legs to 4. He's going to have a little chat with Philip Brzezinski before we bring on a real heavyweight tie. Looking forward to the next match, Josh Rock versus Dirk van Dijvenbode.
The quarterfinals it's Rusty Jake Rodriguez. Rusty, you had to take a deep breath there just now. How does that sound, Rusty Jake Rodriguez, quarterfinalist on the European Tour?
For the first time ever at the PDC, well, except for the development tour, but at the main PDC, yeah, the first time, never reached the quarterfinals there, so I'm very, very happy.
I mean, with the way this tournament has gone, for you in the next round is going to be Joe Cullen. His first appearances, his first 2 matches on this stage, he hasn't looked unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination. So the way you're playing, how comfortable you are on that stage, you must fancy your chances for tonight.
Yeah, of course, I can beat everyone, but Joe is an amazing player. He can play 115 average out of nowhere, but I hope he doesn't do that against me. But yeah, we'll see how the game will continue, and hopefully I'll take the better of it.
Maybe you've jinxed it there with the 115 average. Maybe it's going to happen. Hey, anyway, best of luck tonight in the quarterfinals. Congratulations, great achievement in your career. Ladies and gentlemen, Rusty Jake Rodriguez through to the last 8.